Now, in the race for space travel, a manned rocket has taken a very special tourist into orbit. 90-year-old actor William Shatner, best known for playing Captain Kirk in the cult science fiction series Star Trek. After blasting off, the crew travelled for roughly 11 minutes and experienced a few minutes of weightlessness. It was the second manned rocket by Blue Origin, one of the companies in the race to commercialise space travel. William Shatner was one of 4 crew members and is now the oldest person to travel into orbit. After he landed, he was greeted by Blue Origin founder Jeff Bezos. Mr. Shatner was visibly moved by the experience.
I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary, extraordinary. I hope I never recover from it. The vulnerability of everything, it's so small. This air, which is keeping us alive, is thinner than your skin. It's a sliver. It's immeasurably small.
Well, Keith Cowing is editor of the website spaceref.com. Welcome to DW. Is sending Captain Kirk into space anything more than just a great marketing by Jeff Bezos?
It is great marketing, and if you want to get the perfect pitch, man, you want one that's perfectly aligned with your product. And if you know of a better one, please let me know. I think this was flawless in terms of marketing.
And what sort of demands is a 11-minute flight into orbit likely to put on a 90-year-old like William Shatner?
Well, I actually did some training for a Virgin Galactic flight in the centrifuge, which is a little more rigorous, and I was in my late 50s. And I pulled 6 2-point Gs, and I was, just fine afterwards. So what this shows is that virtually anybody who can walk up and down the stairs has the right stuff and can go into space, so long as they can afford to buy the ticket or get a free one.
Yeah, I saw him interviewed, and he was saying that the toughest thing about the whole thing was actually getting out of the chair.
Yeah. Well, imagine that. It's easier to go into space than to, get in and out of a chair. That should tell you something.
Who benefits from this besides the money men? Does space tourism benefit science, or is it just about the money?
Well, it depends which subset of this. If it's just getting in for a quick ride, then, maybe it has limited benefit. But then again, you go on vacation or holidays, that has clear benefit for people. But the more important thing is that these vehicles that can go up and come back and be reused have a potential to do more than just going into space or going through space, shall we say. SpaceX is building a large Starship, which is much bigger, which will allow what's called a suborbital hop. In other words, you get in one of these rockets in London and you're in Sydney, Australia 50 minutes later. So the potential for these is not what they do today, but what they can lead to in the next 5 to 10 years. Isn't
that interesting? And so, looking perhaps 10 years, perhaps 50 years, can you see the idea of space being commercialised? Can you see people, I don't know, paying to go to the moon, for instance, and actually staying up there?
I can imagine it. Of course, I'm predisposed to do that because I've been imagining it since I was a little boy. But yeah, I think it's become real in the sense that if this follows the path of other things like air travel, it started as something that only rich people could do, and now we complain about not having enough leg room. So if enough people want to do something, there are people who will find a way to offer it to people for cheap.
Well, Keith Cowing, thank you so much. You've given me much to think about there. Thank you.
My pleasure.